Hey, welcome to episode 10 of season 4 of the Operation Bro Show. Um, nice to see everybody here. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. And this weekend, we've got quite a full house. A couple of guests just dropping by, and it's gonna be really good. I think we're gonna have a nice discussion. We're gonna have a quick catch up with certainly with Lefty on his how to manage a space a height requirement, why LEDs are your friend, and other stories, and then also take a dive into the plant breeding side of things to get to see and talk about some of the aspects of that as we get ramped up for the plant breeding project, which will be starting soon. And in fact, in the next weekend, we're going to be having the debate. So yeah, I think we need to get onto that as well at some point. But without further ado, let's have a quick round, see how everybody's doing. Let's start with Lefty. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Just sitting here rolling up my weekly. How are you today, Pete?
Yeah, doing very well, thanks. Very well.
Good to see everybody.
So,
Everybody had a good holiday.
yeah, you guys had your Thanksgiving, didn't you? Well, you guys, I think you're all, apart from Tyler, you guys don't do Thanksgiving, do you?
It's
No.
October.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like October 8th, I want to say.
Yep.
Hey, look at me.
Nice. How's the weather over there? Is it good? Chilly, winter's setting in properly.
Beautiful. It's about 65 and sunny as hell.
Nice. Rub it in, why don't you?
I will.
Yeah, it's on that note. Tyler, how are you doing, sir? How are things going there? How many inches of snow do you have? 60?
There's actually no snow right now. It melted off the last 2 days, but yeah, early this week we got about 20 centimeters. What, 4 hours?
Wow.
It was nice little dump.
That's an impressive amount. Yeah. Have you heard that would just bring everything to a grinding halt, man? In this country, they watch the snowflake land, and the second it hits the rail line, ding dong, sorry, rail is cancelled. Da 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 da. Wrong kind of snow. It's like fuck off. Look at this
Just
picture.
another Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, man. Um, and yeah, hey, Mr. Bagseat, how you doing, sir? Good to have you dropped by again.
Yeah, good man. Just hanging out, enjoying the day. Worked in the garden a little bit. Had a little conversation with a couple people, and then now we're just gonna be hanging out. It's good to be here. I'm glad you had me on, or glad to have me on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to see you. Nice looking garden there behind you.
Yeah,
Very nice
yeah,
indeed.
yes, sir. Thank you.
And GMS, Genetic Marion Farm. How you doing, buddy? How are things going there?
Oh, excellent. Can't complain. Had a happy turkey day, baked some pie, you know, broke apart a big turkey and little bitty pieces of turkey. So, yeah, can't complain. Just thankful to
Good,
be
good,
here
good.
hanging out with y'all.
Nice. Everybody got full belly now, like weeks of leftovers to go. Turkey sandwiches. 3 weeks of turkey in all sorts of different ways. Raptor, how you doing, bud?
Doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Just been hanging out, relaxing, enjoying the post turkey chow down, and exactly like you're saying, yeah, probably eat some more in a little bit, and then freeze everything. So it's all good. Most of it's already frozen because I prepped a lot of it, and there was no need to do it all because we cooked enough for our family, but they were feeling a little down, so we just I made sure to drop some off at the front door.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, but a good holiday overall. Good food. Still wished everyone a happy Thanksgiving and enjoyed myself.
nice.
Got to hang out with my friends. And
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
no,
was a
no.
great time.
Excellent. And Cascadian, nice to drop by, sir. Haven't seen you in a little while. How are things going?
Having me, man. I'm doing good. I'm just rolling out of my coma. I'm still kind of puffy face.
Still waiting for makeup.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm alive for this one.
Fantastic. Good. Is that daylight coming in through the side there, or is that a light that's on?
That's real daylight.
Hey, nice. Hey, that's always good.
Yeah, yeah.
Always
Surprising
good.
here. It's cold and wet outside, but there's a little bit of light. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. So on the when we mentioned Lefty, your somewhat cramped growing, but at the same time, it is. Let's have a look and see. So yeah, so the Whoa. Space is that showing up? Or I'm showing just the.
Oh, it shows.
You girls getting taller. We're kicking you out of the club.
I like it, Lefty. Efficient use of space. Use every inch.
They're finally done stretching.
Yeah, they definitely stopped. Yeah.
Yeah, they're done stretching, but yeah, I've had to bend a couple tops. They keep fucking standing back up, man. It's all like pinch them, prop them like an inch above where I just propped them at, but they just keep fucking standing back up.
Well, it's obviously
Really?
not bothering them. It's incredible the difference in the two cultivars here.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
That the one on the right's half Pakistani landrace, so yeah.
Wow, that's got a really thick.
Frick
You can
yeah,
see
it
you've
is.
pinched it there.
Yeah, there's a few nipples on them.
That's a really thick stalk on that one. Wow.
Really thick stalk. I think that it's at least an inch around.
Hmm.
Inch diameter, yeah.
Well, that's looking nice and frosty.
Yeah,
How many
those
weeks into flower is this?
week 4, start week 4 today.
Okay. And what is the seed breeder's recommended flowering time? What was it?
I took down the plant I took the clones from last week, and that was ready at about 60 days. So anywhere from
Okay.
8 to 9 weeks. But actually, I just misspoke. That's starting day or week 5 today. Week 5.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, that's like 30, 35 days, I want to say.
Nice. And that's the landrace one doing the. Let's go for it.
Yeah, that's that Ethiopian banana by X18. X18 is almost basically a landrace Pakistani.
Yeah,
It'll work.
that is really nice. Ooh, sparkly diamonds are yeah. Fuck off. I'll take these, please.
So that was an Ethiopian by X18.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that one in the front right's the Ethiopian banana X18, and the others are all peach pie from Bloom Seed Company.
Oh, and this is yours, Tyler.
Yep.
These are all
Golden goat.
aren't golden goat. Sorry, every time. Wow.
Yep.
Nice dark green. Jeez. Yeah, there's a lot of space in those. I mean, it's amazing the difference in the height and the plants. Did you both veg them for this? I mean, they're different cultivars altogether. But I mean, did you veg them for roughly the same amount of time? Because they're growing in the same size pots, aren't they? They're all both in auto pots at the moment.
Yeah,
everything's in auto pots. Yeah.
How long did you veg yours, other Lefty?
You're muted, Lefty.
It's either 8 or 9 weeks.
So yeah, I think I did 8. So pretty much the same.
I went longer than I wanted to by about 2 weeks.
But they're all looking really good, man. On both sides. It's just interesting just to see how, amazing how different the different cultivars actually are when you start stacking them up side by side and then seeing like the training of them. So what are you noticing, particularly with yours, Tyler, considering all 4 are exactly the same? I mean, what are you seeing now with the different techniques? You seeing anything particularly standing out?
The one that's been stripped down a couple times now is actually producing more bud sides. That's easy to tell. The control one is actually just has the thickest stalk out of them all. I'm surprised. And the monster crop, it seems to be keeping up with the pop and twist, the same height. So it seems like no matter what you do, they keep the same height.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard to tell the difference. Mine really. The strip plant, like Tyler said, I think my strip plant's got more bud sites on it. It just seems to just have flowers all over it. I don't know if it's just because it's naked or what, but Yeah, they
Yeah,
all
that's
kind of look the same, man. I mean, I pop and twisted all of them. They all kind of are about the same height. The canopy's all at the same level. I mean, everything's almost just they all just kind of caught up with each other, basically.
yeah. No, exactly. I mean, that is a good point. I mean, as you said, the fact that you've pulled all the leaves off, is it just that you can see all the bud sites? It's not necessarily that they're more, they're just visible. But at the end of the day, especially for you, Tyler, what's interesting is you can send it off and get it all tested, because I think that's what will be interesting, to get a test on those and see how they differ, if they differ at all.
See if just the plan actually increases it a little bit or not.
Yeah. It'd be interesting when they can do it for get full cannabinoid profile test, rather than just, I think everybody's just going, oh, how much THC
Yeah.
is it banging,
Hey, Tyler, are you
as
seeing
they
any
would say
more
here.
frost? Tyler, are you seeing any more frost on your plant that you're super cropping, or not anything noticeable?
The one pop and twist, and yeah, I actually do. The monster crop is kind of tucked away in the back, so it's kind of hard to see sometimes, but it seems to be keeping up, but not as much. The control is, the same as last time, so it's to be expected. But yeah, I would say agree with you. It's the pop and twist is frosting up a little bit.
Yeah, my monster crop one seems to be the frostiest out of them. So I didn't know if it had something to do with, putting all that stress and getting on them auxins and plant protectors sent to those sites or what, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
just curious.
Hey Keith, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah, real good, man. Had a really good time on Thanksgiving. Fucking had a huge sale for Black Friday and blew it out. So that was really exciting. It does pretty much ruin my fucking weekend. Like, Friday night, I went to bed all excited, like, I sold so many lights. And then Saturday morning, I woke up like, oh no.
Yeah.
Get to work.
I sold so many lights.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be sitting here stripping wires on the show today. But it's really good to see y'all, man. Good to be hanging out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Excellent. Well, that's really good news.
Yeah, fucking A.
And what are you growing at the moment? Got anything new in the tent?
Yeah, dude. So I chopped down my orange gasm. Ended up chopping her down on day 74. So that is curing up just beautifully, man. And I also guessed right on which ones I saved, which ones I took clones on. So that's really exciting because I was able to just do a little flip a dip, and now I got orange gasm flowering again, man, and it's going to be even better this time. So, but yeah, the really nice, like creamy orange kind of smell coming off of them now in the jars when I burp them. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's that sun-kissed orange. I think that people were talking about pheno that people picked up on in season 3 as well. That creamy, orangey citrus smell.
Yeah, I think it was Underground mentioned it.
So I think the orange gasm is platinum tangy crossed with
Golden Goat.
Golden Goat. Thank you very much. And then the Sunkiss is platinum tangy crossed with Arise.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
You're correct.
So, guys, I'm tired of growing sativas. I'm fucking bored. I've been doing it for like 4 straight years. I've been growing these tall, like 70, 80-day sativas, and I want to pop some seeds, and I want it to be just a fat, short, 8-week indica, something with a lot of skunk on it. So if anybody has a suggestion, I'm looking to pick up some fem seeds.
Some 45-day.
Keith wants to grow skunky fire plugs. If anyone has a skunky fire plug, get a hold of Keith.
8 weeks, motherfucker.
No more. And yourself, Cascadia, what are you busy growing at the moment, sir? What have you got kicking through the garden?
I've been going through some clones, trying to figure out which ones to keep. So I'm on my last runs of a couple clones I'm not going to keep anymore. And then, let's see, there's the Alaska Thunderfuck in there. There's some seedlings I had that I'm not going to keep anymore that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a couple of keepers in there too that I'm going to hold on to for some projects I got brewing. There's a old blueberry cut, train wreck. Trying to think who else is in there. And then there's a couple plants I found. So there's the cherry paw, the sea banana S1, and I just had it. There's a brutal paw. That's what it is. The cherry paw and the brutal paw. So it's just kind of a smattering of everything. I'm getting ready to pop some seeds and get into some new stuff.
Nice,
And
nice.
search for some maples. So
Keith, what about yeah. That Alaskan Thunderfuck is one that that's one that you hear about. You know, I've heard about it in movies over here. Does it stand up to the reputation that it's supposed to have? And
it's nice.
I thought that yeah. Short flowering, given that it's
yeah. 8 weeks. It grows kind of slow like a bubba, but it's got that really like stony, laid flat kind of thing to it.
Okay, so I was thinking maybe some Bubba Kush. My boy Katsu, one of my testers, I know he's doing some really good work with that strain. So, and then I was also thinking about going to Jinx Proof for the 9-pound hammer.
Bubba Kush is good, but this veg is really, really slow.
Okay.
Well, what about just going for a straight Afghan landrace Kush? You know, those are short flowering. You know, you're talking 50, 55. They say 55 to 60 days flowering. So that's your 7 to 8 weeks in that sort of space.
Cool, man.
Just as I'm just saying that.
I know there's like a million options. It's kind of a dumb question, but I just want to see if there's like anything that y'all are really excited about. Tyler suggested the AK-39, but it is out of stock, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, no, I don't mean it in other way. I just meant like, you know, that's another example of, you know, like you said, think, oh yeah, hey, you know, there is these, but they're not known as like the fire strains, but you sometimes think maybe there's something to it.
And
I guess it depends what you're looking for. Yeah.
That Dog Beach from Family Tree Seeds has me drooling lately. That's a dog walker crossed with, I think it's his Pam.
Everything's crossed with the Pam, probably right.
Maybe. He might have one other pollen source he uses. But that looks pretty nice.
Sweet.
And because the catch of getting that, like the 9-pound hammer now, is that all those shows that aren't happening, you can't quickly maybe get it in a seed pack with B positive with Jinx. Never knowing what you could be giving away in that little giveaway.
The other one I've been drooling over lately is the Jelly Roll. That's from iTal Foundation.
Now that sounds really, really interesting. I mean, as a name, I mean that does it taste like Jelly Roll though? Because it's got to have, it's got to smell and taste like Jelly Roll with a name like that. Just seems as Swiss roll.
They're beautiful plants. When they fade out, they fade to yellows and purples and reds. They're gorgeous. They have a nice yield. They have some like fruity flavors to them. They're super impressive looking plants. I've got a couple of friends who've grown some jelly rolls and they all rave about it. So if I was to pick up anything, that's one of the things that's on my short list.
See, that would be the nice thing when it got legalized everywhere, is that, you know, you talk about the color is autumn colors, but people sort of breeding for that particular expression, for it to have these wild flaming fire colors when it goes. But very few people, you know, it's nice if you can do it on show. You kind of think, you know what I mean? Like actually have it as a display. You know, that's why you're doing it, rather than for the almost more than for the medicinal effect. You have people growing it for how it looks all of a sudden, because the extraction artists are all growing it for what's in it. You know, you might have the visual artist who's growing it just for what I can make this thing look like. Check out these colors. You know, oh, you do just purple. Well, let me show you. Because I heard somebody on the show the other day mentioning that do some of those ferment, the fruit juice fermented and that, do they sometimes kick out extra color in the plant? Do they have the tendency to do that at all? I don't know. Is that a just something I misheard, or is there something to that? Does anybody know?
I think there's one that's used for that, but I don't know about which one it is, and I don't know about how it works. But I think there is one that they use for increasing colors.
Want to be a bit like silkworms, you know, depending on what you feed them, you get different colored silk based on what you're feeding them. So, you know, some of these, you can invoke different color flower traits based on what you're feeding them.
A lot of animals taste different based on what they eat. So, I mean, I suppose that stands to reason. I've tried to eat a lot of animals.
Bears that get into a blueberry patch, you know, light
Oh
blueberry.
yeah, that pork. One of the pigs that just eat acorns, specifically bred and known for its flavor. The Spanish.
Spanish pigs, they eat hazelnuts. That's their big thing. The Iberico ham, they basically feed on hazelnuts, and that really is what makes the quality of their meat and their quality of fat so different. So, absolutely, whatever that animal's eating is going to come through when we eat it.
Oh, and how did the so for the quick cob segment, cob update at the desk.
Okay. All right. So we made a male cob. Male cob does not ferment. Basically, the long and short of it is, when I put the female, and I think it has to do with moisture content. When I ran the male through, I only got 6 grams of water to come out of it when I squished it, right? So after a 24-hour ferment at 40 degrees Celsius, when I managed to vice it, right, I only got 6 grams of liquid after I let it drain for over an hour. What that tells me is, simply put, what happened in this cob was putrefaction, not fermentation. There was not enough liquid to actually allow the medium of exchange for this fermentation process to happen, right? There was some, but not enough. So the liquid that did come out when I finally got a chance to pH it only came to about 6.6 to 6.8. The other ones were down to 5 and 4.5 respectively. So the fact that this also didn't go through a pH change is another indicator to know that we did not successfully see fermentation of a male flower. Now, there could be tons of reasons behind this, but it didn't happen. And we do know there was enzymatic degradation because it smells like crab meal. I kid you not. It's called an alphatic. Oh God, I got to grab the word again. But it's an alphatic sulfur related compound. Basically, all the smells that we use are sulfur, right? Well, when you smell crab meal breaking down and that terrible smell of decomposing crab, not the ammonia part, right? That's a nitrogen, but the other part of it, that's basically an alphatic ALPHATIC sulfur degradation. So it's an organic sulfur compound, and as it breaks down, it volatilizes in the air. We smell it, and funny enough, the reason I figured that out was because in Britain they use that as a way to measure how spoiled seafood is. So I didn't actually know that that compound was specifically until I started looking it up. So it looks like what happened was enzymatic degradation, and that released this nasty crab sulfur smell from breaking down what is likely, possibly omega fatty acids. That would be my guess, but it could be a lot of different things in that male flower that broke down into that sulfur-based volatile compound. So yeah, male cobs, from what I can tell right now, do not ferment. At least not without additional water, which is what we'll try next time, is to add water to the reaction and see if we get a fermentation.
Yeah, I was almost wondering if you overpressed it.
This is all experimentation, so quite possibly yes. I couldn't even remotely say no.
Like, I wonder if you could do a male one without squishing the life out of it.
Funny you mentioned that. My next plan is to try to do a female that is unpressed. So if I can get the female, because we know it goes through the process, if I can ferment the female flower unpressed, then I'll try the same protocol that I get to work on the female with the male, and we'll see if that works. But I completely agree. I think it's a great idea. Good idea, Cascadian. Thank you, bud. You're always contributing to my education, and for that, I am grateful, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, man, it's nice to see you.
So that's the update. Males do not ferment well, not without additional tweaking.
I mean, maybe the other bit to it is the amount of material. I mean, when you think about the actual amount of plant material, the bud, that's a lot more than what you're actually getting with the male plant. So maybe what you need to use is a lot more male plant material to be able to generate the same amount of moisture that you're getting from those buds. I mean, those buds is 80% moisture. So from the flower and that, there's a lot less moisture, and you need to introduce that moisture in there somewhere. Maybe a mixture of the male and female bud and flower together is the way to do it, like a blend of the two.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's a far more likely scenario, just because, again, it seems like the female is part of the fermentation process. But I mean, if you look at the thickness, the weight, like, this looks like it should, as far as I can tell. It made the same size of puck relatively by volume. It's got the same characteristics to it, but it smells terrible. Absolutely god awful, like a rotten fish. So now it's had about a week to cure into this flavor. I guess we'll try smoking a little bit of it. And I gotta try it.
And now for the rotten fish test.
So yeah, check it out. It cobbed up pretty nicely. I mean, it went through the fermentation. These male flowers are masked up pretty good. So, I mean, we got through the visual part of the process. It went through, the smashing, it looks like, went all right. It's the fermentation part that went awry. So let's try a little bit of male flower in there.
Right.
Well, in the name of science, my man, in the name of science.
I'm sitting here and I'm almost wanting to tell you, man, like, don't do it. Like, I don't think anything good is going to happen.
But then there's another part.
I think you're probably right. But how am I going to know?
Anything I start like crab meal, there's something wrong with that. Man.
You know when you're on the roller coaster and you're already strapped in, but you're probably too young. Now you're just getting ready to go over that first crest. We're all just
you've been talking large the whole time. Oh, brilliant, man, brilliant.
I'll stick to my hash joint thing.
Yeah,
I
mean, it is. So go.
You hit it with the torch?
Do any of you guys sneeze when you smoke hash or keef?
Me.
Yeah, the initial, yeah.
The peppery
sneeze when I'm trimming.
Yeah. Okay. It's like that first hit of keef or a hash joint or something, man. I always fucking sneeze. I don't know what it is.
Tastes like Nothing. Literally nothing. A tiny bit woody, and I mean like a tiny bit of like burnt wood or campfire. But other than that, no flavor at all. Zero. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. I mean, you could put it in something and no one would ever know. The flavor is not noticeable except for that little bit of a woody flavor, which might just be the stems crammed in there too. There's a couple of stems. So yeah, well, that's the experiment, at least for the male cob.
We'll see in about 20 minutes.
Right? Well, I mean, it's not offensive to taste. I could smoke the whole damn thing, but you know, the thought is now why.
But again, you know, when you if you smoke CBD flower, can you feed it? Again, this would be like, it's not for the THC, it's for the medicinal side. And in terms of the cannabinoid profile that's there that isn't in the female plant because it is a male plant. Is there something extra or different in just specifically talking about that?
Bob's got me drying this. I don't know if you guys, let me see if I can get that. So Bob's got me drying a bunch of male flowers for at least one moon cycle. And this is supposedly what they use to make tea to clear the sinuses and a bunch of other stuff. So it does have apparently medicinal properties. So I saved a whole bunch of male flowers off my last run. And we're going to try making tea bags out of this in about another few weeks. We'll get a full moon cycle out of it and we'll give it a shot as a tea. Because that's the other way Bob said, Rasta Bob. And again, big shout out to Rasta Bob for all his teachings to me on traditional usages. But so that's going to be another way to try it. So I just don't see a need to, well, it's like you talked before. It's about trying to use the whole thing.
Why does every night always run at the same time? So I just watching one of the comments here, Full Plant saying, why does every lighter always run out at the same time? Yep.
Yeah, mine's been out, so I had to use my Zippo. It's been a struggle until I go get one.
It's when you grab the toaster and you're lighting it in the toaster.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, what am I doing?
You guys want to know how bad it is around my house? That's why I actually use the dab torch to light that, or my brulee torch. I have one refillable lighter, and I have a lighter that is not refillable, but can make a spark. So one must hold the, and I've got canisters of fuel around, and I'm not willing to go buy more plastic if I can avoid it. So I have a 2-lighter system just to not waste crap. I hate it.
Oh, who dropped off? It's me drop out?
Cascadian?
Cascadian's dropped off. Yeah, sorry. No.
You
Maybe
probably
bad
has
internet
Comcast.
access.
Probably has Comcast. Oh, Comcast.
Dude, Comcast goons are going to start showing up at people's houses now. We can't.
All of us. I guess it's like a. You said shit about Comcast.
Yeah, so with the breeding project coming up, starting up, I thought it might be good or interesting, you know, define interesting, was to sort of look at some of the basic idea and concept behind select breeding for traits. So it's not just random, you know, this is, you know, the idea behind selective breeding. So actually trying to, you know, pull traits together, and then what's involved in doing that. So I hope everybody doesn't mind. Without further ado, tough shit. So I guess one of the things is, like, you know, did somebody say F1? and what does that mean? Okay, so other than Formula One, which clearly is what people are referring to, every seed that comes from a plant, that first generation, is an F1. So it's all about context. And from that point, in the example here, what we've got is, let's say we're trying to create a plant that is short flowering and high THC. And we've got 2 parents. We don't really know anything about these 2 parents, and we cross them, and we discover in the first generation from crossing those 2 parents that we have a high TH. We've got some high THC males and some high THC females, and we actually go and test everything. And we've got all the combinations of different things. And we've got some short flowering females and short flowering males. So what we'll do is we'll take the high THC ones and we'll cross them with each other because we're trying to lock in the high THC bit, and crossing those with each other, we create an F2 generation. From those, we'll take the high THCs again and cross them again, and we create our F3s, and then we create the F4. Now, the idea is by the time you get down to this F4, you've locked in the high THC, but that's the stable trait that's there. So when I pick a plant from there, I know that everything that there's a really good chance its offspring will just produce high THC. I've kind of locked that trait in. And on the other side, we've been locking in the short flowering. So eventually, if these are like dominant traits in this scenario, is what they need to be. When we cross this pure breeding high THC male with the pure breeding short flowering female, we get high THC short flowering offspring in this F1 generation. So the F1 from this cross creates this dihybrid F1, which is that really stable, and it has those pronounced traits that we're looking for. It brings the high THC, it brings the short flowering in that first generation. That's the F1 hybrid kick that you kind of see that really accentuates what you're looking for. And then this becomes the really prized. This F4 parent there and this one there become the really prized ones because they're the only ones that can produce this dihybrid offspring. And this process, to understand what that one is and what that one actually is, has a whole bunch of steps that go with it. And let me quickly clear out all this point. Can't see what's going on in the chat, so if there's any questions. Or if this is boring, let me know. So let's say we wanted to create a plant that was purple and short. And the two parents we had is we happen to know in this instance, we were even fortunate enough to know that the one parent is tall and purple, and we were lucky to know it was pure, tall and purple. And the other parent that we used was short and wasn't purple. Like it had the recessive of the opposite of purple, recessive purple. We just happen to know that short is recessive and tall is dominant in this case in the traits that we've got here. So we cross these two parents. Bear in mind what we're looking to, let me move this thing up. What we're looking to try and create is this. That's the end goal. We don't have it here. So this F1 cross from the first generational cross from these two parents creates this kind of square, which shows you the combination of all the different genotypes that are possible. Okay, and these all happen to express the same phenotype because every single one has a dominant purple and a dominant tall gene in it. So they all express themselves as tall and purple. So we don't really know, again, every single one's got it in it. So this is that F1 generation, and then we'll go on to, we take any two of these and we cross any two from this F1 generation here, and this is what you suddenly wind up with. Suddenly there's a lot more to play with. You've got a lot of different combinations of genotypes because alleles can be combined in a number of different ways. So you have 9 unique allele combinations, but the number of like genotypes is quite limited. Well, when you do them as unique alleles, there's quite a few, but phenotypes there's only 4 phenotypes because of the dominance piece kicking in. If we were really lucky, because you'll see it's here, what the end goal of what we're actually trying to produce is in that F2 generation. It's there. But it's really rare that you're going to pick that one out of the A, you find it in the cross, and B, that you've actually picked it out because it only has 6.3% of the population is made up of that particular cross that we're looking for, that genotype. it's much more likely that we will pick one of these ones where there's 12.5% of the population. So either that one there or that one there. So all three of them express the same phenotypic expression, but they've got different genotypes. And this is where the backcross becomes interesting. And this is where you suddenly want to use a backcross, because we know one of the parents is pure recessive. This is going to get a bit messy. This parent is pure recessive. So if I cross either one of these, so what I want to do is I want to cross these three with that parent to understand if it's hiding a recessive trait in it. Is it hiding this recessive P over here? Because if I because this is what would happen if I accidentally picked that as that's my final one. It shows me what I've got. It's tall. It's tall. Sorry, it's purple and it's short. Okay, that's finally what I got. If I actually chose that and went with it and crossed it, this is what I suddenly wind up with. I get the offspring will suddenly not be the same. I'll get a whole bunch that are all recessive, and I get, 75-25% split on the phenotypes. It's not a stable offspring. Like, there is variation in its first generation. So that's not good. That's not what I'm looking for. But by using that parent, that recessive parent, I can cross it and I suddenly see, oh, hang on a second, I get 50-50 in that first generation. That means, I'm sorry, I'm drawing on the screen without being able to peep it. Oh, fuck. Hang on, sorry. Okay, get used to this still. So suddenly here, with this cross, here with this, so that pure recessive parent, crossing it with this one, it trips up that recessive gene, and we suddenly get 50% of them having it, which is what we don't want to do. Whereas when I cross it with the right one, I say the right one, the one that doesn't have the recessive trait, all of the offspring come out looking the same because it's the dominant one. So that means that it's not hiding any recessive, there's no recessiveness here. So it will always show the dominant trait in the offspring. So I know, okay, that is the one to use. That is the parent that has dominant purple, pure dominant purple. And because it's short, I know that's pure because it's a recessive trait. That is technically the dihybrid F1 that's being created. This one here, that parent is the dihybrid F1. But you see, the catch is, it's all about stats. So you've got to plant a lot of them to get to this number, and then you've got to test a lot of them back against the parent. And it's not. It might look like, oh, I only did that in 3 generations, but yeah, there's 4 generations between each of those 3 generations in terms of 4 generations of selective work to pick which one am I going to carry on to the F3 or the F4, and then use that to bring them together to create that dihybrid. And at the end of the day, it is that plant there, as I say, this, hang on, drawing on the screen again, it's like this mom here and this dad here that are the prize too, because they produce that offspring. Those are the two, and it took you ages to produce them. People don't give this shit away. They give you a bag of F4s. And it's like, okay, mate, that's just the 4th generation. It's not one with, maybe not one with the God. I'm just saying, you could ask that question, what am I getting in this bag of it? Is it the single trait F4 that you're giving me, or you're just giving me a bag of 4th generational seeds, which doesn't really mean much. It just followed it through that line. So it's about asking the right question, understanding it, and then you could also use that backcross to reinforce. You might have worked out a whole lot of other traits, and now I know I want to try and I've got to catch this recessive trait from the original parent. So I've got to bring it back in and then work the line and try and keep catching the recessive trait and filtering it out. Because this is super simple. We only looked at 2 traits here. We haven't even gone, the Punnett square falls apart when you do 200 traits or combinations of things. The number of squares, just go to 9 traits. It's suddenly what? 1,024 plus kind of combination of squares that suddenly come up. It's massive. This is it's very simple, but it's just to try and say, why are you, when people say, oh, I've got a BX5, well, what does that mean? That's the question I ask. I'd love to know what people's thoughts around that actually are. What does that mean? What are people trying to get at?
Hey, Pete, how about you explain to us what BX5 means?
I can't. Because I don't know. I don't understand.
Damn,
what
I was hoping you knew.
And it's
really
crazy because I think it even gets like a lot more complicated than that. Like you can have co-dominance. You know what I mean? Like you're not just going to get tall plants and short plants. You're going to have some fucking medium plants in there too. And it's like, and then also, I mean, you're not going to know with those parents when you first start off. I guess you're not going to know which traits are dominant and which are recessive. Like if you pick two qualities you're looking for, you don't know if that's a recessive trait or not. And I guess you got to kind of try and figure it out from that first cross and get the statistics and your Punnett square all put together. And then you can kind of try and figure it out from there. But it's probably going to be like 3 or 4 generations before you even know what you really started with.
Well, the thing is, it's working like 3 or 4 within that line. Yeah. And it's bearing in mind, as I said, you could have 3 generations before you establish what from that original. Okay. So, from you could work to discover that these 2 parents in this F1, you might have had to have crossed all sorts of them into an F2. So somebody picked that one, and crossed it with that one. Well, actually, no, even there's 2 females, so you would have crossed that one with like that one over there. Nope, that didn't give it. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. So it's it's how many retries within that selection pool did you have to go through till you hit it. Now, this is the advantage if I can pop 20,000 seeds at once, because I just look at the ratio of things that are coming up, and that's how I do it. But it only works when I'm doing it with a lot of seeds. You have to have a big sample size to make sure that you're not missing, the 1 in 500. So you need to be looking, popping at least 1,000 to 2,000 plus seeds, if not more. So that's where it makes a big, big difference. But yeah, as you say, then you get into the co-dominance side of things. And that's a whole new fun piece where, like the example that they use in the marijuana botany book is the purple flower, purple leaf one, saying, okay, just because I've got the purple flower gene doesn't mean I'm going to get purple flower unless I've also got the purple leaf gene. But I can have the purple leaf gene and not the purple flower gene and show purple leaves. So the purple flower is co-dominant dependence on the purple leaf gene being there as well. It's not one by itself. So you can have these weird combinations.
Also, like if you're trying to separate traits, like if you wanted to separate the tall and the purple, it depends on how close those genes are to each other in their DNA. Because if they're really close to each other, like when meiosis happens and all the genes get swapped around and shit, it's very unlikely for certain characteristics to get separated from that.
Like some things you just can't not get. I mean, it's like it just comes with the territory. Sorry, if you want this, you're getting that with it. It's like it's tough shit.
Purple gene is the tall gene almost. Yeah.
So no matter what you do.
Also, the one book that I have that goes into like the basics of breeding and Punnett squares and all that. Marijuana. Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. That's what this is taken from.
Genetics and breeding that I attempted to read.
That
did
slide.
not finish. I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to be a breeder. That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is from the book. That's. I mean, this is exactly it from the book. Page 74, I think it is, something like that. That's the one I lifted from it, just to put it on a big scale, so it was easier to see what was going on. But yeah, this is fascinating. And if you really want to get into it, I recommend doing it with things that breed really quickly. This is really, it's a fascinating plant, but its life cycle is a bit slow. Do it with fruit flies.
Turn and burn, man.
Turnaround time.
Turn and burn.
Oh, CRISPR lab for Christmas. Yeah, okay, why not? Yeah, I know a few people I tried on. I'm
Mini
all for-
PTR.
Yeah. So I'm just having a quick look at what's in the chat.
I haven't seen any questions yet. I've been scanning.
Yeah, well, they're saying about the the catch with the weed is that it is a genetic clusterfuck. Nobody's kept track of what's going on. So this is where it becomes really important. This is where the importance of that cross to a known entity, so you can work out from the offspring what you were working with. I know what came from that. So anything else comes from the other side. Dihybrid just sounds badass. Yeah, ask that of your seed breeder next time. Are these dihybrid F1s? All right, Keith. No need to show your pussy on the show. Thank you very much. Trying to keep it clean here. Woo. Yeah, all the
Cat Joe.
all the sign language people get that one. The universal sign language and for cunt, it's just done aggressively. Oh dear.
So my seeds are hitting the dirt today for the breeding project.
Oh, got yours. Got yours to share as well.
What?
Your seeds. What you're actually putting into the dirt.
Yeah, they're
I'm not
ready.
mistaken. I
For
think this
sold.
was you were doing the banana OG F3s.
Yep.
Interesting. Based on the conversation that's just been had. And across with the rise.
Yeah, it should. So really, I should find more of what I'm looking for pretty quick with the banana OG, if they did the work right.
What is your goal?
Yeah.
I want to get the arise potency and the banana OG onto it as far as the terps.
Nice.
Nice.
So I'm looking for more of the like broadleaf, stockier arise plant rather than more like the lanky, more the golden goat side of it. More the daybreaker side is what I'm looking for.
Okay. And the arise, you're hoping for to be the male?
I'm not sure yet. We'll see what turns out to be what.
Yep.
Because I think I'm gonna let these males go all the way through their life cycle and see what they show me. I mean, just flower it like it's a female and just take it all the way.
Come on, Keith, join the club. Start smoking males. It's the cool thing now.
I'm gonna smoke it. I just want to see if
I'm just kidding. Nobody should do what I'm doing.
Turns out there's a reason it's not the commercial product.
I think someone in chat suggested that you should do a line of Keith.
Pollen.
Yeah.
Oh, they said pollen. That's just ridiculous. I say do Keith.
Well, if we did, we'd
Keith
have to
with a lisp. Keith.
So in order to get that to dissolve, you'd have to cut that with anhydrous alcohol, which is made now in Germany. It's powdered alcohol. So if you cut the two together and then snorted it, it would allow it to be absorbed. So now you have to step on it with anhydrous alcohol.
Should be pretty easy to get a few grams of that on the dark web.
Malawi Cobb Suppository. Max 751 saying snorting Hermie pollen is where it's at, bro. Yeah.
Chris Mertz said Malawi Cobb Suppository.
Yeah, I knew this was going to garner all kinds of crap, but thus is the nature of experimenting.
And traditionally, they do it stalks and all as that suppository. It's a ritual. It's a rite of passage. Yeah. So, yeah, what's everybody up to otherwise at the moment? Anything else going on? Now that Christmas is still a way away.
I finished
Yes, I
almost all
should
my
have
shopping
mentioned it.
yesterday.
Wow.
Black Friday, boom, done.
Yeah, definitely, Keith. Definitely leave that shit out. What was the name from? What was that movie? The one with the aliens and gets that bug and it's crawling in his leg, and they're going, "Oh, we're going to have to
Evolution.
extract it." And evolution, yeah.
Take the
There's no
leg.
time for lube. There's always time for lube.
Wow, deep cut, man. I haven't seen that movie in like 20 years.
That was a good film. It's a great movie, man. Should definitely have a movie night sometime. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we're at the hour. And if anybody wants to jump on for the after show for a little bit, have a chat with everyone, see how it's going, we shall post the link up, and you're more than welcome to dive in and jump in on the after show. Yeah, well, I'd like to say a big thank you to everybody that came on. Thanks, Keith, for diving in. Nice to see you again, bud. All good. Mr. Bankseed, good seeing you, sir. It's a pretty Cascadian dropped off. Fuck Comcast. Raptor, great seeing you, bud. I'm doing all of this. Where can everybody actually find everyone? Let's do it that way. So, Keith, starting with you, sir, where can everybody find you?
BlackSailMarket.com on Instagram or Cannabuzz at Black Sail Market, and every Thursday on the Embracing Organic show.
Excellent. And Mr. Bankseed, where can we find you, sir?
Instagram, Mr. Bagseed. It's just all the same on Instagram and YouTube. And actually, I opened up a Cannabuzz account, so I'm on there too. I'm gonna start using that instead of Instagram, probably. So, yep.
Probably.
Nice.
Well, I mean both, but I'm using it now. So.
Good. And Tyler.
On Instagram, and it's Shooby Doo. On Facebook and Cannabuzz, it's the Growing Buds.
Excellent. Lefty, you made it past the how many was it? You were after 700, 710, was it? 420? What number did we hit? We struck through that. You must be pushing. What's your Instagram numbers these days, buddy?
I don't know, man. I got past 420 though a while ago. After that, it just kind of started climbing on its own. So I'm not sure, brother. But yeah, at Lefty's Farm on Instagram, at Lefty's Farm on Cannabuzz. I gotta get busier on Cannabuzz. It's a good platform. I just get high and forget to post over there. So yeah, everybody check out Cannabuzz. It's a cool place. But yes, sir. Banana OG Arise coming on the way.
And Genetic Memory Farms, where can we find you, sir? You're muted if you're chatting.
You can find me on Instagram, Genetic Memory Farms, if I can be helpful to anyone. I don't know why you would want me to be helpful because I do silly things like this. So you can come join us in the after show and see if I fall over dead. But yeah, I just enjoy doing, how shall I say, little food science experiments for the community. So, even if they're just to satisfy my own curiosity, or if anyone has a question, hit me up. I like to be helpful. So come see if I fall over.
Fantastic. And you can always find us, Operation Grow Show, as Operation Grow Show 2019 on Instagram, also on YouTube. Obviously, that's where you are at the moment, for crying out loud. If you listen to the podcast, yeah, check out the YouTube show. Otherwise, hope everybody has a great time, and we will see you all right about this time next week. Stay safe, and yeah, thanks everybody for dropping by and chat. Always great to see everyone. And as I say, if you want to join into the after party, the link's there. We'll still be going for a little while. Jump on in.